got a friend in me.
You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed,
You just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on Norwich Public Access, Channel 14. This is Martin House Presents. Today we'll be talking with two Martin House ambassadors who will share their story with you. My name is Paula Oberg. I'm the executive director here at Martin House, and one of the things that we're doing this spring is to use social media, including TV, Facebook, and our website, to share what we do at Martin House with our local community. So this is our first show, and we hope there will be many more. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce our ambassadors for the day.
Good afternoon. My name is John Gilliland. I live in Martin House. As an ambassador for Martin House, I am pleased to share my story with you today. When I arrived in Martin House, I was at a low point in my life. As a young adult, I was struggling with everything all youth struggle with, but in addition to that, I had a mental illness. My illness was and is schizophrenia. I would hear voices that told me I was useless, worthless, and at times to hurt myself. Schizophrenia is a disease of the brain. It's hard to imagine how frightening and distracting hearing negative voices can be if it's not happening to you. I work at my recovery every day. I'm sure you've heard the one day at a time approach. It really works. I am not defined by the illness. Rather, I define how I live my life. I needed to learn how to trust in people who offer their support while at the same time make my own decisions. Living in Martin House allows me to do that. I have worked for the past 12 years, first at Groton Bowl, now at TJ Maxx. Having a disability does not prevent me from doing everything you do. I just have to work harder at doing it. At Martin House, I had people who believed in me when I could not see my abilities. I see them now for myself. Sharing my story with people who may not know someone who has been homeless or poor with a diagnosis of mental illness helps me. I hope it helps you to understand that when you see me, I look just like everyone else. I want the same things in my life as you do, and I am working hard to make good things happen for myself. I would ask you don't have sympathy for me, but rather try to understand that you could be the person speaking today, because illness and homelessness can happen to anyone. So for today, please know that I am grateful to Martin House, as well as those who support us. I am adding to my life story every day. So what's next for me? Next year at this time, I hope to have my own apartment. I am saving for that time. I hope to have my own car. I used to have a driver's license and a car. My car broke down, and I couldn't afford to fix it. Being homeless changes your life in many ways. You lose people, places, and things that are important. I am over time beginning to replace those things in my life. Now, not only do I feel successful, I am successful. Upon leaving here today, you will return to your homes, families, and friends. Your support of Martin House will result in life changes that will last for days, months, and perhaps throughout the year. You can be part of the solution to help improve people's lives. My life has improved because of people like you, and I thank you for it.
And now we're going to go to a commercial break. How does that sound? Sounds great.
We're coming to you live from the Martin House Coffee Cafe. It's a system that we have, a coffee system that we have 2 for $1 for a quarter. And this is all our community involved. As a community, we come down here 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and get to this event.
We're good.
What you like, sir?
Good afternoon. My name is Heather Bryant. I am sharing my story with you today, hoping you will see a little of yourself or someone you know in me. Our similarities outweigh our differences. From the age of 8, I escaped reality from my toxic home life. I started restricting food intake as a young teen. I felt I had no control because my dad was an abusive alcoholic and my mom hid in her room due to her social anxiety. In spite of my life circumstance, I maintained my self-esteem by playing softball. It gave me a sense of control that brought peace in the midst of chaos. I felt confident and encouraged to challenge myself. When it was time to go to high school, I held on tightly to my studies. I had hopes of going away to college, but feared if I left, my mother would kill herself. My only friend and I shared the rituals of her eating disorder. We altered our moods by withholding basic life nutrients. What started out as a game took over our lives. I knew love and I knew pain. They were interchangeable. Friends moved on, and I settled into a relationship that mirrored the chaos of my early childhood. I married the first person who said, "I love you." I loved hearing him say those words to me because I thought I was unlovable. We had 2 children. I wasn't prepared to be a wife or a mother. I had feelings of inadequacy. The responsibilities of motherhood required that I bury the feelings that triggered my eating disorder and cutting myself. I knew I needed help, but I didn't want to be labeled as having mental health problems. Being a stay-at-home mother, I managed to maintain my sense of self by going to college. College gave me a way to challenge myself and get validation from others who recognized my strengths. When my husband got involved in relationships outside of our marriage, I did nothing because I never thought I deserved better. When I did seek mental health treatment, it did not give me the relief I hoped for. February 28th, 2012, I made a serious suicide attempt resulting in hospitalization. I felt like I had hit bottom. I had lost everything that was important to me, but most of all, I had lost myself. Depression and feelings of worthlessness were more than I could handle. Martin House gave me a place to rebuild my life, but I was fighting their help all the way. I was convinced I couldn't be helped, and even if I could, what would my life be like? They must have known others like me because they didn't give up on me even though I had. You never know when that moment will come when you take the hand of someone or something, offering you the safety and support until you can resume being the responsible, healthy person we all strive to be. I am now a volunteer at the Helping Hand, our in-house store. I organize donations, price them, and set up the displays. The store has helped me build self-confidence, given me a sense of usefulness and accomplishment that I had thought was not possible. I make jewelry and draw Zentangling. Of people like you, people who donate time and money to Martin House and other United Way agencies, I have hope for the future. Talking to you now as a Martin House ambassador gives me a voice, and I have a lot to say. I have an important anniversary coming up. March of this year, I will celebrate my 1-year anniversary of being in control of my emotions without any episodes of cutting myself. I have proven to myself I am smart, strong, compassionate, and proud of who I am. So now in closing, I would like to share a thought that grounds me, soothes me, and feeds my soul. To this day, when I am stressed, I go outside and feel the breeze and imagine it's my grandmother giving me a hug. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
My name is Phyllis J. Presley. I'm an ambassador for Martin House Incorporated. This is February 26, 2016, and every Friday we retort to the Coffee Cup Cafe at Martin House. We will have a hip-hop dance for staff and residents of Martin House. All join in, and they're all welcome to have coffee and snacks and hot cocoa and tea. And we do this every Friday. The Martin House residents have enjoyed this privilege for approximately a year now, and it's been very successful.
Information for people who may not know about Martin House, or who invite us to go talk about Martin House in the community. So given that, maybe we could talk a little bit about what that's been like for you. You are both ambassadors. And so who would like to start to tell a little bit about...
Paul.
Okay.
My name is John Gill, and I have been an ambassador for almost, well, as long as the program has been in. And without Martin House made me who I am today. I have a lot of good support systems here. The staff is very good to us. I get along with other residents. I have, like I said, I have a job at TJ Maxx, and I'm busy working, and it gives me pleasure to tell my story and to talk to other ambassadors about Martin House. In the 15 years I've been here, Martin House has helped me tremendously become a whole different person. I'm happy with myself. Before I got here, I was in a very unsafe neighborhood where there was drugs and alcohol, and people would want to come over to my apartment and sleep there, and my family and friends were concerned, and a previous employee that worked here recommended Martin House to me. And I said, I'll go look at it. So I went to go look at it, and I found it was a great place to be. So I've been here ever since, and my family is very happy that I'm here. My dad and mom are happy that I'm here. And Martin House has just been wonderful. If it weren't for Martin House, I wouldn't be sitting right here talking to you all today. Mm-hmm. Martin House is a world of good for me. I mean, I appreciate being in Martin House every day, and I appreciate the staff and the residents that also live and work here.
Great. How about you, Heather?
I just joined the ambassador program recently. I haven't actually gone out and spoke to any groups other than the my speech on the Facebook page and now on this program. But I've been living at Martin House. The middle of June of this year will make 3 years. As in my speech said, I did fight my recovery when I first moved here. I moved here I had learned about Martin House through some people that I had met inpatient at the hospital, and they had highly recommended this place. So I had my therapist look it up rather than go to a homeless shelter that my aunt was trying to send me to. And I came here, and I liked it, but I was having a very hard time accepting that I was mentally ill and that I had a disability, and I was having a very hard time. And even though the staff was very helpful, and the residents here are great, and the staff is very helpful, but I was fighting it internally and wasn't willing to accept help. But like I said, no one gave up on me, and as much as I tried you, and as much as I pushed you, you stuck by me, and I really do appreciate that. And I've come to appreciate the fact, and really in the last year and a half, I've really turned things around and really started working hard on my recovery, and things are really starting to turn around, and I really do appreciate this place more than anything, because if it wasn't for Martin House, my children would not have a mother right now, because I was so suicidal, and I really did think my kids would be better off without me. And just being here with the other residents, I mean, I learned I was so isolated before. Being here with the other residents, and I've always been good with other people, and being here and being with other people, it helps me to come out of my shell and learn to interact with people again and, you know, talk to other people. And, you know, I love just listening to other people's stories and, you know, even just their stories of when they grew up. And, you know, it's just nice to talk to other people. And the staff here is great, and, you know, they give great advice. And then even just to talk to them about daily things or their life, and or just to joke around with staff about daily things, you know, everybody's so nice. And, you know, I'm so grateful for having a roof over my head and having such great staff. And now that we have the Helping Hands store that started in December, when I heard at the end of November that we were having a store, I was like, you know, I just heard about it, and as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I'll help. And, you know, I jumped right in. No one asked me. I just jumped right in, and I love it. I mean, I love to organize. I love to sort things, and I mean, I absolutely love the store, and that really brought me out of the depression that I was in, you know, in the fall, and it's brought me out of my depression, and it gives me something to look forward to, because I work on it a couple days a week, and it gives me something to look forward to and do, and it gives me a sense of purpose and stuff like that, and I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy it. It's great, and I love it. And, you know, and I like doing the ambassador thing because I feel like I'm ready to tell my story. I want people to realize that, you know, having a mental illness doesn't mean that it's the end of, it's the, you know, it's like, it's not that. Well, I mean, it's a struggle, and it is a struggle for the rest of your life, but it gets better. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's hope. You know, I have hope now. I have plans for the future. You know, I no longer think my kids are better off without me. I mean, I'm excited to, you know, see my kids, and I have plans on watching them grow up, and I have plans on moving out someday into my own apartment and having my kids come visit and have sleepovers, and you know, I have hope for the future. I never had plans for the future, and now I do. And just, you know,
I think one thing that's very interesting that I heard both of you talk about was that you each self-identified that you have a mental illness.
Yes.
And I think one thing about Martin House is that we're very strength-based oriented. And so, yes, it's true, you may have a mental illness, or you have a mental illness, but you have strengths.
Yeah.
And I think that the Helping Hands program, our Coffee Cup Cafe, Rockin' Friday, now we're doing the TV show.
And even, you know, like just saying hello to each other every morning. We wake up, we say hello, good morning, how are you today, what are your plans for the day? We're like a little close-knit family.
Yeah, it's a
And of course,
community here.
Everybody's, you know, there's a lot of us, so once in a while, if we get a little annoyed, we can go to our room.
Yeah.
And we have our own room, which is great.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to live here in terms of what do you have here in terms
Well,
of...
we have our own rooms. We have a school teacher. We can go to learn groups like current events and history, and we take field trips just field trips around Norwich, other areas, museums and stuff like that. And we have 3 meals here served every day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what's really nice is around Christmas time, we're very, very fortunate to get donations from other outside agencies and churches that give us a happy Christmas. Because not everybody here has a Christmas or a family or people to visit Christmas with. So it's nice for them to get gifts in the Christmas morning, just to make your day a little brighter. So Martin House is very affordable. We only pay half of what it really costs to live here. Sometimes not even that much. So we're very fortunate that it's low income based, and like I said, Martin House, it's great. I mean, I couldn't have gotten this far without Martin House. My life did a whole 360 since I've been here. I got here December of 2001, and it's now February 2nd of 2016. And in December of 2001, I would not be sitting here saying this today, nor did I think I ever would be.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the closest I've ever been to living on my own. And it's nice because I'm around people, and and I can socialize with people. But then if I want my own space, I have my own room. And then there's different areas that we can socialize, that we share. And there's different TV areas, like if you don't like what's going on. But like we've got the community room upstairs that's got 3 computers that go online. Plus there's a big TV in there that's got comfortable chairs. Plus there's a boardroom table where I go to draw a lot. Or you can play games on or whatever. But then you've also got the lounge downstairs, or a living room, or whatever you want to call it, where they watch TV too. And there's the barista area where the Coffee Cup Cafe and the Helping Hand are. And the field trips. This past Friday we went to the Eliza Huntington Retirement Home for Women. I went on that field trip. That was absolutely amazing. I've never been there before, but that place was fantastic. The women there.
You were volunteering.
I volunteered. We went there, and we went and had hot cocoa and munchkins with the women there in their community rec room, and we got to share our stories, and the women shared their stories, and the women there were so happy, and to listen to their stories, it was amazing. And I really hope we get to go back, and just going out into the community and doing different things is very interesting. And
sounds pretty rewarding.
Yeah, and we get to do different, we get to bring topics to the adult ed program too. Like this Friday, I'm helping doing a self-soothing kit for stress reduction workshop. So, which actually comes out of the DBT. Dialectical behavioral therapy groups that I go to, and I'm using that to help residents here with stress reduction.
Yeah.
So, and I've also taught a class for the adult ed here on using dentangling, mandalas, and labyrinths on how to reduce stress too through art.
I would just want to add that Martin House is an alcohol and drug-free place.
Yeah.
We don't allow people to come in unless they're clean and sober. We're not like a recovery house or a sober house. We're a group home where we help each other and we help ourselves to recovery. There is no alcohol or drugs in Martin House, nor do we tolerate that. That and bullying. We don't tolerate bullying either.
No.
So it's not like you go into Martin House, you could be in danger. But the staff are very well trained, very well picked, and they do their job. They're like our friends.
Yeah.
Right, Heather?
Yeah. Everybody treats everybody with respect. We accept everybody for who they are. It's a no judgment zone.
Right. And I don't know about you, but I consider some of the staff almost like friends.
Yeah, they're,
And, like I said, there's no bullying here. We don't tolerate bullying. We don't tolerate alcohol. We don't tolerate drugs, gambling, or any form of self-defeating behavior.
No, and
that's all self-defeating behavior.
Yeah, and like John said, it's nice because the staff actually treat us like we're equals. The staff doesn't look down on us, which is nice.
And that has happened elsewhere in your life where people have looked down on you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know the difference?
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't, it's not like staff treats us like we're beneath them.
No.
Staff treats us like equals, and that's very nice. We don't feel like we're beneath them or like we're less than because we have an illness or something. Which
just
is
like
nice.
A customer going into a store.
Yeah,
you're going in there for a purpose, and there's respect and dignity, and it's mutual.
Yeah, and you can talk to staff about anything. It doesn't have to be about a Martin House issue or a mental health issue. You can just talk to them about a life if they have time and opportunity to talk to you. Just talk to them about a life issue or something.
Right.
If they have time, they'll sit down and talk to you about something. Everyone's very laid back and easygoing, you know, unless they're on a deadline for something. But but that happens in paycheck day.
So one of the things that viewers might like to know a little bit more about is, how do we fund Martin House? And each of you pay program fees to live here, which is sort of like rent. We call it program fee because we are a program.
Yeah.
Right.
But, so you do pay to live here, and we are able to keep your program fee low to subsidize your program fee because we accept donations, we write grants, and we also have funding through the United Way. We are a United Way partner agency, and so we benefit from that. And we also have a relationship with the state of Connecticut for programming for some people who live a smaller program here at Martin House. And so we're very lucky to have that. But it is a bit of a struggle to make sure that we can do everything that you've been talking about, hearing about. So
one thing, Paul, I noticed about Martin House the most, compared to being out there on my own and then to being here, is that I'm safe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very safe environment.
It's a safe environment.
Great.
And that's very, very important to feel safe.
Okay.
If you're out there on your own and you're on the street late at night, not even late at night, and then during the morning or the day hours, you could, somebody knows you live alone. They could follow you home, or they could, brew up to rob you or something.
Yes.
Whereas Martin House, we have keys. We have keys to our door. We can unlock our doors when we're not there, and it's very important to me, particularly, that I feel safe here.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know that my parents and my family think that I'm safe here too.
Right.
Whereas if you be out there on your own, someday we all have to go on our own.
Right.
But as far as while we're at Martin House, in comparison to being out on the streets, I think most of us could say we're a lot safer here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because they're staffed 24 hours a day.
Right.
And I was going to say too about the funding. The funding is really important too, because you keep it low so that the program fee is low for us, and that's important too because we don't have a very high income.
Right.
So even though it's a low program fee, that program fee does take up the majority of what we have come in a month out of our budget. So that doesn't leave us much for the month. So it is very important that we have that you get that funding. So
Right. We can actually say what the fees are. So for a person whose income is below $15,000 a year, the program fee is $565. And for someone who has an income above $15,000 a year, it's $670. But that includes your room and board, so your food, all of your utilities, except if you wanted cable in your room.
Or a phone.
Or your own phone, right? So exactly as you're saying, it might take up the bulk of the resources for someone who is on, say, Social Security, but still you can afford to live here, as opposed to a one-room apartment out in the community.
$800.
With no food.
With no food.
No food.
So, we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
And we're happy to do
and not
that for
even,
you.
we have, in the summertime, we have free air conditioning. Plus, we have to buy our own air conditioners. But we do have free heat in the wintertime and free air conditioning.
Well, that goes in with the utilities.
Goes in the utilities covered,
Well, although living on the top floor, my heat's never on because the heat rises. And
Yes,
it's
you're pretty comfortable.
Oh yeah, it's like 85 degrees in my room. I don't even got the heat on.
So, viewers are seeing the two of you and going, wow, they're success stories, and you are. But they didn't know you before. And so maybe someone who might be watching who thinks, I could never do that. I could never be John, or I could never be Heather. What would you say to them?
I would say that, it takes time. Everything takes time. When I first used to speak in public places through the ambassador program, I was a little nervous and a little shaken up. but it took time. And the time for me is the fact that I've been at the same residence for over 15 years and at the same job. The first job at Holiday Bowl in Groton for over 12, 13 years, and now at TJ Maxx for over a year and a few months. I'd say it's the stability to build up the credit, to build up the rent, save a little bit of money, and just to get ahead a little bit. And for me, I think it's been the stability. I'm not moving from place to place anymore.
Yes.
I'm not switching job to job anymore.
Right.
I've been a lot more stable. So, what I would say to people out there who think that this is difficult, well, it's not easy.
Right.
But it takes practice, and it takes a long time.
And commitment to recovery.
Recovery. You're not going to do this overnight. Right. You're not going to do it in 1 week or 1 month or maybe not even 1 year. Yeah. But someday, if you really, really want to, you can get to this level.
Mm-hmm. I honestly never thought I'd get to this point. I mean, I've been struggling since, I've been struggling with my mental health issue and suicide thoughts since junior high. I never started getting mental health treatment since 2008, and I've only really started doing good in this last year, and I've only really started utilizing my coping skills really in the last year. I mean, I've been learning them, but I've only actually started implementing them in the last year. And I've only really I only really found my voice sometime towards the end of last year, and then when the store started is when I really got my confidence, and I don't know, a little before that is when I kind of started speaking up again. I got chatty and sarcastic, which is the old me.
So it's important not to give up.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard work, and I mean, I may be sitting here sounding confident, but that's not how I always feel. Mm-hmm. I still consider myself in the early stages of recovery, because like I said, getting through this month, will be just 1 year of not self-injuring, but that's just 1 year.
So it's a day at a time.
It's
week
one
at a time.
One day at a time. That still doesn't mean that I don't have days where I don't want to get out of bed, or I don't have days where I wake up, feeling emotional.
Just like everybody else.
Yeah, I still have my ups and downs. I still have my daily struggles. I still have to go to, my groups, my individual therapy and stuff like that. I still have to. It's still a daily struggle. I have to push myself, but I find I have to keep myself busy. Mm-hmm. The worst thing is not having something to do, and if I don't keep my mind busy, then that's when I get myself in trouble, because I start thinking.
Right. So if we did have viewers who are interested in making a pledge of support, we certainly would be very interested in knowing more about who you are and what you'd like to pledge. And if you'd like to send a donation, our address is Martin House, 401 West Thames Street, Building 700, Norwich, Connecticut. We also have a website, www.martinhousect.org, and pick up the phone, give us a call, 860-889-6150. And we are on Facebook, and we're spending a lot of time and energy taking pictures during activities that are going on here, the Coffee Cup Cafe, Rockin' Friday, the Helping Hand, field trips, and that type of thing. So check out our Facebook page, and we are looking for stories, too. On our Facebook page, we have identified, if you have a story that you would like to share, we'd like to know about it, because
yes,
you could join us with your story, and if you'd like to know more about Martin House, please do make that connection.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got a friend in me.
Yeah, you got a friend.